Yellow. My favorite kinds of people are the ones who are ridiculed because they don't fit into the conventional box of expectation, yet instead of getting discouraged, it didn't matter what other people thought. They chose to win regardless. In that sense, looking at Daniel Cormier, I've always had a great appreciation for the man. He often appeared smaller than his competition. Some would say his dad bod was holding him back, but with a high caliber of technical understanding, both in wrestling and striking, team that truly understood what he was capable of, and recognizing that he retained his authenticity transitioning to MMA, he and the people close to him already knew the heights he would reach in this craft. They were up to him and no one else. Daniel Cormier actually had to drop out of the Olympics because of a bad weight cut where his kidneys failed. Thus, he had lost the only 211-pound spot at the Beijing Games, which naturally caused controversy amongst the wrestling community, where dozens of other wrestlers attempted to secure that spot. But here's an intriguing thing about our human condition. Each time we're set back, a door may close, but a window, it always opens. Like a bow, the string was pulled back, not to keep him from his dreams, but to launch him into another vision, another direction. Read this here. No disrespect to Daniel Cormier, but how can he be considered the best ever with so many losses? Now, Mark Henry straight up eviscerated him by saying, "No disrespect before I disrespect, but if mixed martial arts were Hollywood, you were a prelim fighter your whole career." That was pretty savage. Mark Henry, he just straight up put down the focus mitts and decided to take his own crack.
To the liver! It's a chop to the liver! He got in a good one. I can barely breathe. He took out
the alley.
As good as that New Jersey slice may be, let's instead pick up a salt shaker and douse the wound with a little more salt. Daniel Cormier has established himself not as only one of the greatest mixed martial arts fighters in mixed martial arts history, but a legend, an all-time great. Out of 26 matches, Daniel Cormier has only lost to 2 fighters who were recognized as GOATs in their own respective division, with Jon himself reigning as the pound-for-pound king. The journey Daniel Cormier had to endure to get to this point was truly rough. Schooling fighters like Dan Henderson and Frank Mir for the first time in his career, Daniel Cormier was the one dominated by Jon Jones. Jon Jones had to pull out of his next fight versus Anthony Rumble Johnson, which had him stripped, vacating the belt. Despite already being booked to face Ryan Bader, DC decided to step in, and despite being launched through the air with a haymaker, Daniel Cormier once again straight up schooled one of the most terrifying fighters the division had ever known. This brought the title to Daniel Cormier's hands, schooling the Mauler Alexander Gustafsson. The next time Jon was booked to fight Cormier, not only did he have to bear the brunt of the whole world booing him, trashing him, Jon was once again pulled out of the fight. This was especially crushing for Daniel Cormier. The amount of animosity the two had for each other, everything he had to endure throughout the build-up. Daniel Cormier wanted this so bad that he was even willing to sign a waiver in order to take this fight regardless. He did not care. He just wanted to secure his legacy so bad. Here, you can truly sense how crushed the man was by all of this. Anderson Silva decided to save the card by stepping in on short notice. In turn, it turned out to be the easiest fight of Daniel Cormier's career. I always felt the boos DC received were unwarranted, so here, for me, when Rumble did this, I really did appreciate it.
Much respect. Hey.
Hey, I don't know why y'all booing that man's the champion. Much respect to Daniel Cormier. He's a hell of an athlete and hell of a champion.
Despite the sentiment though, it was unfortunate for Rumble. Daniel Cormier is just a rough matchup. Finally, after the emotional roller coaster he had to endure, DC, he finally got another chance versus the GOAT, Jon Jones. DC, he was tagging Jon. He appeared to be doing very well, and he even knew part of the strategy Jon wanted to implement.
That is a trick because I may say something else, but I know that there's one thing that I do that has gotten me in trouble, if you want to call it trouble, that I've been in a fight before, and I haven't been in much trouble. So in the instance that I did get maybe a cut or something, I know it was because of that tendency he's talking about.
You're talking about the Josh Burnett fight, but
so maybe we are on the same wavelength. That will be figured out by September 27th. So don't think you're going to kick me in the head with your left leg.
Was that right?
I have many tendencies, my friend. We all have.
So do not think you're going to kick me with the left foot in the head. So.
Oh man, I wish Greg Jackson was here.
Jon Jones, he wanted to catch DC's tendency of lowering his hands versus the left high kick, but Daniel Cormier, he wasn't making it easy. From there, Jon Jones began to condition down low, programming against the legs and body to break DC back into his old habit. With the kicks, chambering, testing to see DC's flinch, Jon, when he saw that window, he straight took advantage of that lapse in will and focus. From there, up came crashing a shin against stone. When you see Daniel Cormier cry, knowing and seeing what he went through to only end up at this point, you have to understand that only a psychopath would not get emotional. It's as if all the people who were making fun of Daniel at this point, they either forgot how badly the man was ridiculed, all he had to go through, how patient he had to be, or, they never even had a fraction of the competitive will Daniel Cormier possesses in their entire lives. After witnessing the state Daniel was in, it was surprising to see him back at work, just doing his diligence. It's crazy to me. Despite how badly he was treated, he still gives Jon Jones his respect where respect is due.
I'm quick to insult Jones, but I will also give him credit where credit is due. And I truly believe that this Francis Ngannou thing is one of the most gangster things in the world, especially if you're a guy that has the accomplishments of Jon Jones. I think hats off to Jones, especially a guy that's accomplished what he's accomplished. I'm hats off to you. Jones, he's very evasive. He's very smart in there. I've hit him hard. I've hit that dude hard a lot of times. If he can't knock him out, though, there's no way he beats him.
Daniel Cormier always wanted to be a role model. That's what he aspires to. That's what this here is. Despite how bad life hits you, as a man who would always wear his heart on his sleeve, it didn't matter how much it hurt. For him, he would own up to all of it, then get up and show up to his commitments honestly. That is a man of integrity. When you understand this, you start to realize how this man, who never started out physically, ended up schooling almost an entire era. The man is a role model. Without a paid salary, you even see the man coaching a high school wrestling team while he's competing. I'm not going to make an assumption of the matter, but Jon, he had once again been forced to give up the belt, which in turn handed it back to Daniel Cormier. Now, when it comes to DC's style, if you're slow in a transition, if you make a technical error, or have an undeveloped technical component to your game, that's where Daniel Cormier appears to really crush his opponents, and that's how this here happened. Slip collar tie. He gives Stipe Miocic the underhook, knowing Miocic has a tendency in this exact moment. Watch, transitioning to an underhook, he's now free to break from his overhook. Watch Stipe's hand position. His hand is down. Pair that with his impaired vision, mass times acceleration, heavyweight DC steps all of that newly acquired mass straight up into a sharp right hook. Clean connection. Stipe Miocic, he never saw it coming. From there, the lights had no choice but to go out. The controversy behind the eye pokes bothered even me to a great extent, but I knew exactly what happened. He had been poked in his losses before, and even then, he was still the one who ended up ridiculed. Regardless though, this moment here cemented Daniel Cormier's legacy as an all-time great. Daniel Cormier. Everything I did, every day of my life going forward was for Kaden. For a long time, it was singular. She may have been the guiding force of everything I was doing, from the moment she passed in 2003 until 2011, when I had Daniel. Truly, overcoming heartbreak and representing love were the guiding forces in Daniel Cormier's life. It's, as Lao Tzu had said, being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. Lao Tzu. We are all now at the end of an era. For the first time in 9 years, there will be neither someone named Jon Jones or Daniel Cormier holding the light heavyweight belt. And to Daniel Cormier on his retirement, firmly I can say, as a man who's lived with courage, love, and integrity, a man who showed up to his commitments wholeheartedly, all I can say is that if he wished to become a role model in his diligence, absolutely he has become just that. Through his legendary run, he's demonstrated what will and discipline can accomplish. To that end, thank you, Daniel Cormier, for this lesson. If you'd like to stay elevated, why not subscribe or hit the notifications? Thank you. If you enjoyed and would like to give back, why not smash the like button? It truly does make a difference. Thank you again. You guys are always appreciated, and until next time, peace.